welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drew B. Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing it to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community, because let's be honest, this is the greatest job on earth. Doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create a pretty amazing life in sales. Today's guest, definitely not a stranger to that journey. Someone who I can tell is going to bring a lot of cool value to the show. He's here to help architect the business you've been dreaming about. He's my new friend, Mr. Travis Fox. What's up, brother?
Drew B, how you doing, man? By the way, thank you for that intro. That was super dope. I was like, man, how do I follow that? This guy's super up tempo. And by the way, call the damn leads. That's how I got on this show. That's how we're going to start the show. That's how I got on the show is I followed up and called. It's really simple.
Amen.
More than that.
Amen. Well, I'm excited and I appreciate the energy you bring as well.
Thanks,
so I want to jump right in, man. Tell me the story about Build Your Fortress. Like, I know it's a wild one.
Oh, it's a 30-year journey, brother. I mean, let's go a snapshot. So, you know, my background actually is actually in psychology and clinical hypnotherapy, and I developed a system called dual path dynamics, which we've done for over 30 years, and it's all over the world. It's really about, hey, how do we deal with all the voices in our head and how we deal with everybody else's voices in their heads and all the conversations that are going on and get to the lead and the close and whatever mutual desire that may be. Company cultures being the number one aspect. When I've always been in real estate. I mean, in fact, credit given where credit due. I actually started my real estate career as one of Robert Allen's pupils, and I actually did some sales for him a while ago. So this tells you how old I am. For those of you who know who Robert Allen is, we're going back decades, right? And I actually did. My first several real estate deals were all no money down deals, which required calling the leads and following up and having that discipline and the psychology to get there. Well, as I've aged and gone through life, I've noticed two unequivocal facts. Housing prices have gone up, but housing quality hasn't. We're still building the same way we've been barn raisins for the last 300 years because that's the way our granddaddy did it and our daddy did it. That's the way we do it, which is a mentality thing, not a reality thing. And here we are sitting in this beautiful 21st century. And I started to get really upset because my whole family is military. My father, my uncles, all the way to a single star. My eldest son is ex-special forces, lawyer, done a great job, served his country for tour successfully, and started to realize that we have over 1 million vets that have been honorably, discharged that are struggling to get a house. I just found that completely unacceptable. And I started to see the struggles that my eldest son was going through at the time. And I started looking around going, there's got to be a better way to do this. Well, there is. There's a boatload of them. So I got involved. And the bottom line is I jumped in and said, look, man, I don't know a dang thing about manufacturing. I don't know a dang thing about how to put these plants together. But what I do know is I've got will, I've got discipline, and I've got ambition. And there's a problem that needs to be solved. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for somebody else to do it because I called the damn lead and said, I want to buy this company. I have no idea what I'm doing at the time. And now here we are several years later. We're about to revolutionize the manufacturing industry and and literally change how the output is done, but also its mobility. I mean, imagine the manufacturing facility coming to you and building your property on site in speed and saving time. And 3, the type of materials that we're using, which are better, faster, greener, stronger. And I don't mean that from a woo-woo, oh my God, the trees are amazing. What I mean is the trees take too damn long to grow. We got to get into something better here. And hey, maybe you've noticed, and if you're listening to the show at the, in a current space, which I assume you are, tariffs are changing everything. And I'm not a political guy. I don't give a crap about politics. I care about people and homes in America because this country has given me the opportunity to be the knucklehead that I am at 54 to live an amazing, amazing journey, even though I have traveled the world 3 times. And I spent the first 10 years of my life outside the United States. So I've had a real strong influence of what's out there. And really, and I say this with the utmost respect to all the countries in the world, and there are amazing ones. We really have it really great here, people, and get off the tourism thing and stop riding all the stuff that's normal and go hang out with the locals and see what's really going on. And I guarantee you it's going to ignite you to come back with one of 2 things, gratitude and a dispositional shift in your attitude. And that's how I end up on this show.
Woo, brother, there's so many things to unpack from that. I want to start with the thing that I take away from that is, and this is sales 101.
Sure.
Problem solving.
Yep.
What is a big problem that you see right now that almost everyone is being affected by? And if not everyone, what is a very large portion of society dealing with? And help them solve that problem. Because the bigger the problem you solve, the more money that you'll make. And it's not always about making money. It's about making the impact.
In fact,
and
I'm going to go reverse.
Coolest thing.
I'm going to go reverse on you, brother. That's what pissed me off. That's what pissed me off is we have been putting profit over people for so long now that we're addicted to it. We're addicted in an obsessive kind of way, specifically in this country in regard to housing. It doesn't cost that much to build a 1,200 to 1,400 square foot, 322, 412 vaulted house. But we'll charge 4 times profitability because of all the other nonsense that we have to deal with. Legislation, workman's comp, trade and forced labor, unions, city officials who are always on the level. No disrespect, but they're always on the level. And the time that it takes, what now is the risk mitigation process. So all of our general contractors and developers, instead of being in these projects 6-8 months, they're in it 18, 24 months, which increases the mitigated risk for the banks and their lenders and the private funds. So now they're doing less projects, which means they have to make more profit. But then that brings us back to the original problem solved. We are running at an 8 million single family res home deficit in this country right now, today, and it's getting worse. That is freaking unacceptable. And every American right now should be pissed in a way of, wait a minute, are you telling me that we are the greatest country in the world and we can't even supply housing for our own people? That is absolutely it's a travesty. It's a guilt and shame thing. And I was one of those guys. I said, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I started in a trailer park. So any of you out there think that I did, that's horse shit. It's not true. And I'm not saying I'm a self-made man because I don't believe in self-made people. I believe that we build better together. End of discussion. No one is self-made. And the moment you think that you are, check yourself in for narcissism. And yes, I can definitely talk to you about that if you're interested, but I'm not. So moving to that space, I said, we got to do something about it. When you really look at SIPs, which is where we specialize and which is structurally insulated panel, it's better, faster, greener, stronger. And you can go to our website. We'll actually show you how we even work with Habitat for Humanity, one of the greatest foundations since Jimmy Carter, who obviously recently just passed, of putting homes together. And their intention was to do it at an affordable rate, and they still do. But even them, at their speed, can frame a house in 21 days, framing a house. We did it in 4 hours.
What?
Go watch the video. Don't take my word for it.
I'm going to go watch the video first.
Please.
Of all, but this is something that's super interesting to me because I truly so long story short,
man.
My family and I, we moved to Texas 5 years ago. We had a big job opportunity, went down there, did amazing things, bought a big expensive house, $500,000. And we were like, for what?
Right.
And then we sold it all and moved into a fifth wheel RV to travel around. And now we've been stationary for a few months because of a couple things. But what I've always found so interesting is as I watch the market, the price of these houses is insane. And I know it doesn't cost that much to build them.
I can prove it.
What makes it crazier is just that there's so much technology and things out there. So how does this break it down for me? Because when I see new houses in any neighborhood, it's like 300, 400, 500,000. And I'm like, for what? These are small single family homes. Help me understand these panels and what's the game changer about them?
Several things. Let's start with the construction and speed. So a high performance panel, and the best way, all of you, whether you're watching this or listening to the show, please continue this in your brain. I want you to imagine an ice cream sandwich and think about that. So you have OSB external, hyper compressed polystyrene, which you would know as styrofoam, but super compressed under a long period of time to get all the air out of it, and then OSB. So you literally have a structural panel that pops in its place and eliminates the first 7 steps of your materials package, which is, of course, lumber in and of itself, right? Obviously, that's insulation. You're talking about electrical wiring. All that's literally done in one step because we already create the conduits inside the panels. You can literally wire the house with one electrician in a day. In fact, you can probably do 5 houses a day on average. 3 is for sure. So when we look at this concept, we're going, wait a minute. The problem isn't necessarily the speed of the general contractor, the developer. It's all these other aspects that they need to deal with. So part of our golden chalice, this is the coup de grace, and we're this close to pulling it off, is imagine being able to walk into the Build Your Fortress website, go to buildyourfortress.com and say, I want to choose that house, this look, click the button, it goes, and it pops up the invoice and tells you exactly what it's going to take, what the number is to finish it. And we've got those houses down right now, especially on the east side, on the East Coast, which is where we're really focusing in the Midwest and East. We can get a 1,200 square foot to a 1,400 square foot house done for about $150,000 all in cost. That's move-in ready. Now, here's the speed. You can do that in 5 to 7 days. These are not kits. This is not modular. This is build on site. Why? Because the structure goes up in hours. You go right to your externals. You've got 30% less waste because you're not relying on human behavior to screw it up in measurements, and then you get billed as an over budget, which never happens in the general contracting world because we're speculating. We don't know. Here, this isn't speculation. It's down to the millimeter. So when you pop in, your internals go simultaneously because you're not trying to hit the stud for your drywall. You're going bang right against, literally against OSB. Literally, you can't screw this up. It is ice cream sandwiches and paint by numbers. Every panel is numbered. Every panel stack is numbered. So when you think about it, it's like, guys, we can build these better, faster, greener, stronger, and we can move faster. Now, me, the buyer, I'm looking at it, and imagine, for those of you out there in the workforce and attainable housing sector, which is about 85% of the entire United States. So let's just encompass that. That's 500,000 or less is where we land in that space. It doesn't cost it. It costs, we know, I've got it down to the invoice at $150,000. That means it retails somewhere between $190 and $210 to give it on your area and other things like that. The bigger expenses, obviously, in your horizontals, your entitlements, your curb and gutter. But even then, guys, it's moving dirt. Let's get real for a second. If we continue to go on the path that we are on, there are two inevitable truths, and it is human history. So don't take my word for it. Go look all the way back as far as you can go. The moment you create a divide that is so gapped between those that have and those that have not, there is only one space we end up, and that is revolution, kids. End of discussion. If you don't believe me, this country has already done it. You would know that as the, American Revolution, when we told England, piss off, because they were coming in and taxing us too much. And then we did it again in the Civil War when we had ideology differences about, hey, this is how we make our money in the Southern Hemisphere, and this is how we make our money in the Northern Hemisphere of the United States. And I'm not suggesting that I want that. I don't. I'm not an anarchist. What I'm scared to death of is we continue to perpetuate that we're the greatest country in the world, but we're not acting out on it. We're not stepping up. We're not taking care of our vets. Half of my company on the board and the advisory board is made up of all 4 branches of military. I have not had the honor to serve. That is a fact. It missed my generation, but I grew up around the world with my fighter pilot father and my eldest son, who's special forces operators. And when you look at this, we're going, guys, these are the men and women that gave us opportunity to do what we're doing right now. Period. End of discussion. You can give me all the politics and all the nonsense as you want. At the end of the effing day, they stood on a wall and said, not on my watch. This country is going to be the best country in the world, and I'm willing to lay down my life for it. So guys and gals, if we can't get out there and give a reasonable, attainable, and work, and by the way, if anybody tells me it's affordable housing, slap the teeth right out of your own mouth. It's not affordable. Affordable in today's world means cheap. How dare you insult a vet or a first responder and say, I'm going to get you a cheap house because you put your life on the line? What an ultimate FU can we say? Give them a quality home that we know the R factor is solid. With our SIPs, our R factor is completely solid. Because see, people forget, oh, I got the house. Great. Hey, Drewby, I got the house for like $250,000, bro. Yeah, but it costs you $2,000 a month because your R factor is R9. Because you can't heat it and you can't cool it. Oh, and by the way, if you have a wind that's more than you going blowing really hard, the damn thing ends up 4 counties from now. And now, as we've been saying for the last 3 years, and many of my friends in the same industry are saying the same thing, we're not even able to insure homes in California and Florida because the insurance company said, look, you keep rebuilding out of the same stupid shit and expecting it to survive the next storm, which are getting incredibly more intense. And now we see that with LA. We haven't even rebuilt from Katrina. Hey, kids, that was 15 years ago. 15 years ago, and downtown New Orleans is still a war zone. It looks like crap. Why? That's completely unacceptable. Speed to build with high quality performance, getting people a reasonable price. And if you have any kind of mathematical intelligence, it is simple this. Guys, there's a reason why Netflix and Amazon are multi-billion-dollar companies, because they don't come in and gouge you. They hit you with the $9, and $9 adds up at speed. Well, you can do the same thing in our industry at $30 to $40 or $50,000 and make an incredible living. Incredible, without fleecing the people, and better yet, give them an ability to escalate into the next level. We'll start with high density, move to single fam, then move to a larger, then to a custom, and ultimately a super custom if they want to. And now this allows those of you who are landlords to actually have a property that you don't have to repair so often. You don't have to get screwed up as often. It costs you less to build. You know it's going to be great. It's simple to operate. And here's the best part. You have a storm rating that'll take you up to an F5 tornado and hurricane, which is over 160 miles an hour, kids. So I hate to break it to you. Maybe you've noticed, I don't know, whether you're a climatologist or not. I'm not. But these storms are getting pretty dang intense, and they're doing some wacky things that I've never seen on both coasts. And now we start to realize, hey, if we don't start doing something, it's not going to be 8 million. It's going to be 80 million. And that's a problem. And that's how we arrive here.
Well, you've given me a lot to think about in the sense of like,
thanks.
And I appreciate the passion, because the passion to me is like really the thing that drives a movement like this, because there's a lot of listeners right now that are selling a product or service that is not well known, that is not, your typical insurance or mortgage or roofs or whatever. Sure. You're selling something that is very niche down. It has a very specific purpose, and it's not known enough to be popular. So what is it that you're doing? I mean, aside from podcasts and shows like this, but how do you get the world on board with something like this, knowing, hey, it's better, it's faster, it's stronger, it's greener, there's all these benefits to it, but people don't know about it. So if if someone's listening and they have a product like that, how do you continue to bring that passion to market?
That's a great question. And that's really where, what made this such a unique venture for me. Because it really, look, everybody knows that you grow outside of your comfort zone. Well, this is way the hell outside my comfort zone. Yes, buying and selling fix and flips, and doing small developments of 5 homes at a time, that's one thing. But owning the manufacturing company that supplies materials to these massive developers and these funds and NGOs, that's different. But you don't learn sitting in the comfort zone. So, you only live once. So I'm like, what the hell? Let's dive in, because they're either going to be part of the problem or part of the solution. I don't like being part of the problem, right? I'm like, get in the game, kid. So we got in the game. And what we said was, look, we did what's called a push-pull lever approach and a third vector, which is a really fancy way of saying we push into the marketplace videos of awareness that are fun in our social media and our ad reach. And it's been incredibly successful. We average about 10 to 15 cold emails a day from people going, damn, I just saw that. What the hell is that? I've never seen it. We also simultaneously, we don't place blame. We go, look, everybody wins in the ecosystem of building. That is why it's one of the largest part of our national GDP. If you don't believe it, go look up at housing starts. And I guarantee you Warren Buffett will have something to say. D.R. Horton will definitely be involved, and they're big boy players. So maybe we want to take a look at this. But there's room for everybody, because the reality check is we all hit at a different impact zone. And so part of what we did is we said, look, we want to work with general contractors because of the ideology, the mindset. Granddaddy, my daddy, that's the way I was taught it. And I get that. There is a mentorship apprenticeship that has been around since basically humanity. However, if we don't get a different mentor, you only know what you know. And then you don't know what you don't know. So we went to the GCs and developers and said, look, we're developing a free list, and we've been continuing to do it because we get people asking to build in all different states. Well, we're not the builders. So we don't have general contractors in every state we can refer you to. And we said, wait a minute, we'll put you on our list. We will send the business to you. We don't ask. We don't have an affiliate fee. There's no membership. There's no nonsense. It's like, look, you win when you build with a better, faster, greener product, because it puts it in your hand, and that will make you a natural customer of ours. That has been successful. That's the second one. The third one, I finally said, wait a minute. Can we all mutually agree that banks suck? I hate to say it, kids. Banks suck. Why? Because they're not banks anymore. They're a completely different business model than what I grew up with, where you actually put a bank and they became a part of it. They do when you get to a certain level, and you're maybe at the investment banking level. We had to ascend there as well. But even then, there's still limitations because of all things we saw. We'll use the most recent as 2008. We all know what happened then. It sucked. And we're on the precipice of that now. Only now we're on the commercial side of it, failure. And so we went to the NGOs, we went to the foundations, and we went to the funds. And we said, listen, you guys need to get a preferred rate of return for your investors. You can't do that on 36, 48, and 60-month terms. It's got to be every 12 months. You got to be turning and burning, preferably with quarterly distributions. But you can't do that if you're building traditional, buddy. Not going to happen. In fact, more often than not, you're going to miss the mark and you're going to piss them off. So how about this? We'll build it with SIPs, because you don't need to do sticks and bricks anymore. Better, faster, greener, stronger product. You know it's going to last longer. You can turn your financial notes, increase your lines of credit. Now the banks I want to work with you, the fund, but you as the investors, you're not going alone. You're dropping into a fund that already has endemic and vertically stacked aligned relationships. So we have aligned relationships with several funds that all they focus on real estate, whether it's in workforce and attainable, whether it's in Section 8, high density, multifam, or in commercial. And we specialize where we'll supply directly to them so they can build their products faster and turn money for their investors. And that's been our three-prong approach, and that's how we arrive here.
Well, and that brings up a great point, because I wanted to ask, like, we have a ton of contractors and people all across the country that are listening.
Yeah.
How can they continue to educate, potential clients on this being something that's available? Because I think that's probably the hardest part, right? The client doesn't know it's available.
Not at
all.
If
you're not educated on it, you can't tell them about it. You don't know what you don't know until you know.
Right.
And then you have a decision to make. Now that they know this exists, how can they continue to educate or learn more about, like, how can I share this with people and see if this would be a good fit? Because there's still profit to be made building this material, from what I understand.
Oh my God, yes. In fact, you'll find the margins are great, but also too, it's exact. What I mean by exact is, how many panels you're getting. That's going to build your house. We're done. Oh crap. Dang it, Drewby, we forgot your entire bedroom. You're screwed, bro. I'm going to have to go charge you another $30,000. I need some more money. It's going to be a little bit 3 months delayed. I got to get my subcontract. Oh, nonsense. Bullshit. Excuse my French. Bullshit. Right? And if you don't believe me, go to buildyourfortress.com. Watch us do it in real time. In fact, you'll actually see me pissed in a fun way, because we had a running bet with the head of construction for a Habitat on that run, where I said, I'll guarantee I'll build it in less than a day. He goes, no way. Well, internally, I had a bet we'd build it in 2 hours, which is pretty much the norm for us to get it done when we work with our contractors. We got it done in 4. Right? Why? Because 20 of those people were volunteers they don't know the one end from a hammer from another, but they're good people, but validates you can build your own home. I mean, let's go back in time, kids. Back in the day, I would come over and help build your home. You come and help build mine. And that's what made a community. Nowadays, we walk in, we see a house, we go, I'll buy it. We have no idea what it's made of. We just kind of hope to God it works. We don't really, we think the HVAC costs are going to cost this, and here's your HOA and all these other things. But most buyers don't know diddly doodad. So the first thing to do is go to the website, start watching. Secondly, general contractors, you're absolutely right, because they've been conditioned to think, this is my lumber package, this is the way it's going to go, this is my insulation, this is the stack that we do it in, and there's some merit to that, don't get me wrong. However, when you're in that space where you're buying your first home, your second home, or an investment property, you need speed to market, and you need the one that's going to be around. It's going to be stable, and it's going to survive the storms so that your insurance company doesn't cancel you. Ask LA how they're going through that right now. This is LA, kids. I mean, I'm an LA and ex-LA and myself. I don't live there anymore. I haven't lived there for 15 plus years, but damn, I grew up in Marina. I know that area very well. I know Riviera. I've played the golf course several times. And so when I look at that entire area, what is the number one thing they're trying to do? We're going to put high density smash apartments into that location. Are you effing kidding me? Come on, man. Again, we're back to profitability over people. Educate yourselves, kids. I'm going to break something down for you, because this is the parts that are going to blow your mind. People are like, my God, Travis, I didn't know that material was out there. I'm like, yeah, here, you want the real truth? SIPs were originally invented in 1930. That's 100 years ago, bar a couple of years, kids. Why is that? Because we're getting into propaganda, media, and profit. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with profit. We are a for-based profit company. We are being geared up to go public at the end of 26, God willing. At the end of the day, though, you don't have to put people over profit. At 8 million home deficit, and probably going to be likely closer to 9 or 10 if we're not careful the rate we're going, let's be honest. All of us building at 24 hours a day, it would take us decades to catch up. That does not include the rehabs, the restos, the burnouts, the storm that is continuing to go. It's going to be a constant. We're never not building. If you want to see a perfect example, go to Las Vegas. It never stops building, ever. It hasn't stopped building for 50 freaking years, and it still can't keep up. And that's a mile-long strip. We're talking about the United States of America, family. We have got to get our stick together and start taking care of it. And the best way to start doing it is community building. And we work with the funds that actually do that. And get yourself educated. Ask a question. And yes, I answer all my own email. I know that's hard to believe, but I actually do. I'll even give you my email address. I'll answer those questions. And we even offer you a 18-page free download PDF on your site. No questions asked. No one's going to call you. No one's going to solicit. Just educate yourself what's out there. It'll show you everything on how to build a high-performance structure, whether that's a barn dominium, an outhouse, a doghouse, the new house, a big house, a multi-fam, it doesn't matter. It shows you exactly how they work. You can literally build it yourself. What is the power of saying, hey, Drewby, guess what, man? I'm going to build this shed in the backyard. And instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars and taking months to build that, by the way, won't last 2 seconds in a storm, what if you and I built one and it took us a couple of hours? You had a beer, you had a cigar with a buddy and a friend, and all of a sudden you're building something. Now we're community building. When we community build, there's something different. Nowadays, in post, obviously, what we all know is 2020, communities are destroyed. I mean, we don't take care of each other like we used to, and we better get a snapshot of that real damn fast, because otherwise we are under assault from other countries that we used to deem as third world that are not third world anymore. And I would cite most notably Saudi Arabia and Dubai. Dubai is truly the Jetsons. Having been there multiple times myself, I'm in awe of what they have done, but they do one thing that we don't do. They don't F around. They make the decision, they take care of it, they build it. End of discussion, move. Now, I know our general contractors and our developers all want to do it, but this legislative process and what you're seeing in LA is a perfect example. The first time in real large public sector, we're showing we have no clue really how to do emergency management. I mean, cut the crap. FEMA has been so outdated, it's like watching a train wreck twice. No offense, family, but let's be honest. Secondly, this whole process of, we were always worried about your safety. Hey, man, I just lost everything. It isn't just the house. It's all the stuff in the house that we don't factor into. We don't think about, like clothes, for example, or basic toiletries or sundries. Those are all gone. And if your insurance company is dragging you out for 6, 8, 10 months, what do you think the fiscal impact on that is? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's really simple. You want to know it? As of today, and I did the research before we got on the show because I had a feeling you might ask. You haven't, but I'm going to set it up for you anyways. It came out a news report today that the average rent in Las Vegas for a one bedroom, one bath. This is an apartment, kids. This isn't a house. Is $2,000 a month. Now do the math in that in reverse. You do the math on that when you realize that 80% of Las Vegas is based on workforce labor, i.e. casinos. Duh. They're big employers, massive employers. But if they don't have a place to live because they're working at $15 to $25 an hour, pre-tax, work your way back. God forbid they have a family. God forbid they have to drive. God forbid they have to do anything. That $2,000 rent is going to crush them, and they're moved out into areas that you've never heard of. But, oh, by the way, one of those happens to be Mesquite. Now, I happen to know some of the city officials there because we look at that often as a place of, this might be the next place we have to suggest a deal. They have zero inventory, like none. Like literally zero. So when you push these people out of Las Vegas, where the hell do they go? Well, you got a migration into Utah. Well, Utah is 80% dirt. Hate to break it to you. It's undeveloped and most of it's mountainous. Then that pushes you into Colorado. Same answer, kids. So when you start to look at this, we end up back where we started in this Midwest. But here's the problem with the Midwest. It's dilapidated. It's old. If you haven't been to Omaha and one of my favorite cities, Kansas City, another one, the World Cup is coming there next year, and they're in trouble. These houses are built in the freaking 1950s. I'm talking about plaster, kids. And maybe you've noticed we have a wonderful thing out there called tornadoes that just wipe shit out. I mean, and it doesn't care. So if we don't even give these people half a chance, then they're taking their entire life savings, investing in these homes. That's probably the single largest investment most people will ever make. Generally, it still is to this day, and it's wiped out. Give them a chance, man, because otherwise all we're doing is fleecing ourselves. And then we can often, and this is a horrible thing to say, but damn it, someone's going to say it because I'm going to call the damn leads. I'm going to call ourselves out, and I call myself and hold myself equally as accountable, which is why we got in the game was, guys, you want to know why people talk smack about the United States is because we whore ourselves against ourselves, and we're doing it in housing when it's not necessary. We can still make $1 billion and not fleece people. And yes, I am very passionate about it. And yes, if I piss you off, good. Get in the game and go buy a company, buy mine out and do it better, please. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I damn sure know sitting on the sidelines talking smack is going to do nothing. It's not going to do anything. And so I challenged myself to go solve that problem. We did. It took us 2 years and a lot of money. And a lot of my money personally, and a lot of my investors' monies. But my investors also understand what I understand. Hey, if we invest now and we understand how to manufacturally change the system, enhance it, I'm not saying break it, make it better, build the better mousetrap, and do that from a space that allows a couple of things. Speed to market. Imagine a 4 times output where you can actually produce 5, 10 houses a day. Custom. This isn't track. This isn't, hey, guess what, Drewby? You guys all got the same house. Woo-hoo. No, it's your house. Do it the way you want, right? But 2, mobility. What happens when we have a situation like LA or North Carolina or Kentucky or Florida every freaking year? What do we need? We need people that can roll in there and bang, solve that problem. We're on the precipice of solving that problem. We're about 60 days out, actually. It's one of our strong USPs and part of our IP. I helped design the line because I was so pissed. Because every time you open a facility, it's $2 to $5 million. And now we see, because President Trump has made this beautiful announcement, I want to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Brilliant. Great. Now, all the guys that have all the money are buying up all these manufacturing and warehouses facilities that are sitting there. Guess where the rent is? $20, $22, $23 a square foot. So if you're above 10,000 square feet, you're screwed. And if you want to try to build one, well, we're back to where we started. I'll see you in 18 months, assuming you get all your permits. And so this problem becomes infectious when it's really simple. Hey, kids, build better, faster, greener, stronger. There are incredible products out there. Ours is one of them, and there's many. In fact, I'll reciprocate. This is a surprise for you. Is we're actually starting what's called the Fortress Roundtable, where we're bringing industry people in and saying, look, let's talk about these things where we're leaving money on the table. What are some of these other products out there? There's great products that accentuate what we do, and working together is how we win. Building better together. There is no other way. If you think there's another way, probably not in the right country, kids. But let's get to that point, and that's okay. If you don't want to be here, then leave. That's good. I'll get great, more room for the rest of us. Otherwise, you were born here. You're a citizen. And if you notice on the board behind me, we have a slogan here called "Upholding the Oath." Obviously, we're strong military supporters. Again, as I represented by our board and our advisory board. Those military vets that were honorably discharged and are still looking to reintegrate back into the world where we just tossed them back in, they took an oath to defend this country, both foreign and domestic. Just because they don't wear the uniform, the oath doesn't change. We're now fighting a domestic enemy, and that's homelessness. And that's the inability for people to have the American dream is under assault. And we need our bets on the line, putting that stake in the ground. And the simultaneous is you and I as civilians, we pledge allegiance to the flag. That allegiance is an oath. We're an oath to allegiance to the flag to make this country better than it was before. And sitting on the sideline is a bunch of bullshit. So get your ass in the game, invest in something new, and stop doing it the old way, because I guarantee there's funds out there. I can name 3 right off the top of my head that I personally work with that are massive funds that have heart. They care about community. Their first objective is to put veterans and first responders in, because those are the people you're going to call, and you expect to be there when you call 911. But where are we when they need us? So someone's got to stand on the wall for them. I'm asking and calling all of us out. It's time for us to uphold the oath, and let's be knights of our own fortress again, because right now our castle of the United States is under assault, not from externals, although that's there. That's President Trump's job and his administration to handle. Our job is to make sure that everybody has a home and everybody can stand their ground and have the American dream. Otherwise, then what the hell are we fighting for? And it's time to get that stuff out of this country and get back to who we are.
Amen, brother. And we could probably do this stuff all day, but I want to be respectful of your time, because you've got a big mission. You've got a lot of people to help. And I want to make sure that we do our part to help those people as well, especially the first responders and the military. So what's the best way for everybody to come and find you, to learn more about this process, and maybe even become a part of the movement with you?
Thanks, man. I'd be honored. Thanks for the opportunity. And yes, I do. And for those of you out there, I won't ever forgive my passion, but I will ask you to ignite yours. How's that?
Come on.
So you can get a hold of us. You go to buildyourfortress.com. That's buildyourfortress.com. We're on every major social platform as well. You can email me directly. It's easy. It's TF, my initials, at buildyourfortress.com. I answer all my own email. Why? Because I'm just like you. I don't have all the answers, but I know how to ask some pretty good questions. And I bet with your help, we build better together. And that's how we're going to make this fortress we call the United States the best thing it's ever been in its entire history. And that's our mission.
Amen. I'm excited to be a proud supporter of that mission with you, to put your mission out on my platform. And if you guys enjoyed the show, share it, send it to somebody you know, send it to a contractor that doesn't know this stuff exists and is possible, send it to someone you know that wants to build a new home, and let them know, hey, here's an opportunity and an option. And that's the stuff that this whole platform is built for, because you don't know what you don't know until you know. Then you have a decision to make, and that decision should lead you to calling the damn lead. So if you enjoyed the show, send it out to someone you know, share it. Go over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your story. We'd love to bring you on the show. If you have a mission and a message, that's what we're here for, to help get it out there and change the world one conversation at a time. Dr. Travis, thank you again.
Thank you.
See you guys on the next one. Go call the damn leads.